Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hi, everyone out there on our Moms Meet Facebook page. Thanks so much for joining us today. Tell us if you're here in the comments. We want to hear from you. We want to know where you're from. We want you to join in on our conversation today because we have a really great show planned for you guys. And I have two lovely ladies, special guests here joining us today. I'd love to get more into introducing them in just a little bit, but I wanted to just do a little brief introduction about Moms Meet for those of you who don't know who we are. We're a large online community of moms who are passionate about raising healthy and happy families. So it's free to join. Always go to momsmeet.com to learn more, and we'd love to have you there. So yeah, we see some good activity here. Thanks, Lisa and Mackenzie, for joining us. And we have Chantel from Louisiana, Carly from Texas. It's great to see you guys here today. Today we have two special guests, like I said. We have Zibby Owens here with us. Zibby, there we go. So Zibby is the host of an award-winning podcast called Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books, which is so true because I struggle with that, but I love reading. Zibby is a mother of four and a writer herself. She has a virtual book club, two Instagram live shows. She's contributed to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Parents, and Real Simple, and so many other publications. So be sure to visit her website at zibbyowens.com and follow her on her social at Zibby Owens. And then Zibby is here today. Actually, she introduced us to Jennifer, who is a best-selling, award-winning writer. And she is the #1 New York Times best-selling author of 17 books. And her her novel that's coming out here very, very soon is called Big Summer. It's out in May of this year, very soon. So she's obviously, yes, there it is. Jennifer is obviously very accomplished. Actually, both of these ladies are, and she's also a mom. So you can learn more about her at jenniferweiner.com. All right. So, and of course, as always, it wouldn't be a Facebook Live with Moms Meet without some really fun prizes. So we're going to be giving away to three people. We're going to be giving away copies of Jennifer's book. So we have the Big Summer. So it's the advanced copy of Big Summer. You'll be getting a copy of the Mrs. Everything book. I love how you guys are just kind of showing off.
Do I have it?
Do you have that book? And then a tote bag, and the mom don't have time to read tote bag. Oh, there we go. Yep. Do the Vanna White thing, and then we have the mugs, the mug in the there we go. Nice. It just makes me want to like cozy up with a book, with a mug, and just kind of go to town. So, okay, that's awesome. So in order for you guys to win these prizes, all you have to do is participate. So leave a comment here, ask questions, share this video with your friends on Facebook. Make sure you're commenting and participating, and we're going to select winners on Monday. Again, so we'll have 3 winners. So having said all of that, I'm going to let Zibby take it away because this is going to be a really great interview between Zibby and Jennifer. So take it away.
Okay. Thanks so much, Annie. Thanks for bringing us all together. Okay, she's gone. Well, anyway, thanks to her. Welcome, Jen. Thank you for doing this.
I'm so happy to be here. It's great to see you.
You too. And it's Jennifer Weiner, not Jennifer Weiner. I just wanted to throw that out there.
You know what? It's like with that name, you can't win. It's everyone loses, no matter what you say.
My first name gives me a lot of trouble too, so I totally relate. Nobody ever gets it right. So between the two of us, who knows who we are? Well, I'm really excited to interview you again because we got to be together for the launch of Mrs. Everything when
Mhm.
that like over a year ago,
Uh-huh.
and you're just cranking out the book so fast that here we are again
Here we are
for big
again,
summer, which is
like we
so
never left.
exciting. Like we never left. The world is slightly different this
Right.
time, but you know. So I wanted to talk first about your latest book, which comes out on Tuesday. So
On
congratulations.
Tuesday.
How does it feel, first of all, to have a book coming out in a pandemic like this?
Well, I mean, I wrote Big Summer to really be fun and escapist. I wanted for people to feel like they were on the Cape, like they could feel like their toes were in the sand and they had a cold drink in their hand and they could hear the waves and smell the bonfires on the beaches. And I mean, I figured everybody's so busy and our lives are already so noisy that everyone needs that kind of break, especially in the summertime. So I was really excited to be bringing this book to bookstores at this particular moment. And then the coronavirus happened and here we are. So I thought, well, geez, it's really lucky that I wrote like probably the most fun escapist thing I've ever written at this moment where it feels like the world really needs it. So it was just kind of this serendipitous experience. Although now I'm doing my book tour from like my office, and I'm only wearing pants half the time. And so I do have pants on right now.
I wasn't going to ask. I didn't know. I'm like, do I want to know?
But, it's like, there are definite pros and cons. I mean, my kids they don't like it when I go on book tour. Although having been stuck inside with me for the past 7 weeks, I think they'd be really psyched if I left right now. They'd be like, goodbye, don't come back. But there's pros and cons to everything. But I'm so proud of this book, and I think it's really fun, and I think people are really going to like it.
It is really fun, and I was actually surprised. I feel like it's a little bit of a departure from some of your other books and the whole sort of thriller mystery element to it, which I didn't see that coming. So, which made it like not only has your characteristic, great character development and all the rest, but also now like a page-turning mystery type feel to it. So that was a great combination. So I see why you think it's a good escapist book, because you're
right. One of my favorite writers is Susan Isaacs. We talked about her before, and she does this brilliant thing of she takes a character who feels like your best friend, and like one of my favorite characters that she's written is Judith Singer, who is a Long Island suburbanite housewife, sort of married with young kids, stuck in the burbs, feeling like the world is passing her by. And then her periodontist is killed, M. Bruce Fleckstein. And she has I'll never forget this. It's one of the all-time great names of fiction. And she decides that she's going to solve the crime because she's like so sick of like cutting the crusts off of her kids' peanut butter sandwiches. And she is desperate to use her brain again. And I love the idea of sort of an accidental detective, like a woman who feels like she's your mom or your sister or your best friend, who ends up sort of thrust into these circumstances where she has to solve a crime. And that's what I wanted to do with Big Summer and with Daphne, who is the protagonist.
I actually, since we last spoke, I did an event at Temple Emmanuel with Susan Isaacs, and I just released our podcast, I think last week. So anyway.
She's one of my favorite people in the world. Like she was like, if you ask me who I wanted to be when I grew up, like I would have told you Susan Isaacs, because she's so smart and she's so funny and she's so generous with young writers, and just like an amazing human being and an amazing writer. And that's what I always wanted to be. So I did an event with her and it was so embarrassing. I was like Chris Farley meeting the Beatles. I was like, remember when you wrote that book I loved? Like that was cool. Like I completely like beclowned myself for at least the first 10 minutes. I could barely speak, but I got over it.
But that's probably, by the way, how young girls think about you. I mean, no, I'm serious. You're so accomplished. You've written so many great books that really speak to people. And
thank you.
I mean, I'm sure you've thought about it, but it's sort of a neat thing to think about, that like there are girls all over the place and they're thinking, I want to grow up and be like Jen Weiner, and I want to write for the New York Times op-ed, and I want to have all these novels.
I mean, on the one hand, it does, like, I really believe that thing that Toni Morrison says, where if there's a book that you need to read and you can't find it on the shelf, then it's your job to write it. Like, I wanted to read books where there were sort of these smart, funny, plus-size Jewish protagonists, like solving the crimes and getting the guys and having these wonderful, happy lives. So I'm very, very happy that I've contributed books like that and put them into young girls' hands. But on the other hand, like, I have a teenager. So like, if I am ever tempted to like start feeling really good about myself, or like I'm like a big deal, like I have somebody who is so witheringly scornful and mean to me that like, you know, it's like, I don't know how any mother of teenagers has any self-esteem at all, because she is deadly. Like, she is just like, she's cruel. It's horrible.
Oh,
anyhow.
I feel like my oldest kids are almost 13 and they haven't like transitioned yet into like totally mean, and I'm just bracing myself.
Yeah,
you know?
they will turn that corner, and
I know
it will just and you'll just have to like hold really tight to your girlfriends who tell you that you're wonderful, and because like your kid will just decide that you're like the stupidest person who's ever like walked the face of the earth. And you know, unless you cook them something that they're really excited about, and then you'll be okay for another minute or two.
All right, I'll just keep shoving the sugary products near them. And
yes, food.
Speaking of food, you know, weight is a topic in many ways in this book, which in very interesting ways. So one of your protagonists, Daphne, in the beginning, is a plus size Instagram influencer. Who can't believe her luck at sort of she posts, and as often happens, then she gets all this positive response and she becomes this major influencer in body acceptance and who she is. And yet you see all these scenes with her growing up. Oh, look, a comment just popped up. How cool is that? A comment just popped up. One of the scenes in the middle of the book is when she stays as a child with her grandmother, and when her parents go and work at a summer camp to earn some extra money, and they come back and they've realized that the grandmother has dragged her to Weight Watchers all summer.
On a diet. Yeah.
Put her on a diet. So I wanted to talk to you about that scene. I could so relate, by the way, because my grandmother has written me many a letter, as much as I love and adore her, that says like, I feel like you've gained weight. I think you should watch it. I have them all like stored up, and I'm like, thank you.
Why does she think that's helping? It doesn't help. That doesn't help. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, my grandmother, she's 96 and she's still like, oh, I shouldn't eat that cake. And I'm like, you know what? I've already thrown in the towel and I'm eating the cake.
Okay. I'm going to one up you here. My Nana went to Jenny Craig when she was 90 years old. And she went to Jenny Craig. And like, I'm just like, when I'm 90, like if I should be lucky enough to live that long, like I am going to lie on a couch and have like oiled men feed me bonbons all damn day. Like, I'm not going to care if I'm not.
Oh, I can't hear you.
But you can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you all of a sudden. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Weird. All
right,
hold on. I don't know.
You talk.
Hold on. I didn't press anything.
I didn't press anything either.
What's happening? I don't know. Maybe it'll come back. Annie, you should help us. I can't hear anything.
Well, I can hear you guys.
I can't hear anything all of a sudden.
Can you? I can hear both.
Sorry.
I can hear Annie.
I did not touch anything.
You can hear me though?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can hear you. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No worries.
I don't know what to do. I didn't do anything.
All right. So
I did not do anything.
You and I can
hear. All right. Let's see. Should I read? I can read.
Well, we have a lot of really great comments that are coming in.
Sorry. Can you hear me talking?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, maybe I'll read some lips or something.
Jennifer, can I ask you some of the questions that are coming in?
Yes, ask me some questions.
Okay. So I guess
I don't even know what to do. I didn't touch a thing.
All right,
I'll try one.
Mute Zibby. Zibby, we're turning
it's the way it's supposed to be. Well, maybe you should read a passage or something while I try to figure this out. You want to read a passage?
We're going to read a passage. Yes.
Read.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right. You know what? I think I'm going to read. You guys will like this. So there's a crazy, ridiculous, over-the-top wedding in Cape Cod in this book. And there's a rehearsal dinner, and it's on the beach. And Daphne, my plus-size Instagram influencer heroine, meets a cute guy. She steps down onto the beach and she sees this guy. Signature cocktail? I turned to see a guy smiling at me. He was about my age, with curly light brown hair, emphatic dark brows, a prominent nose, and a friendly expression. He had broad shoulders and slightly bowed legs. His shorts had once been red and had faded to a pinkish salmon color. His frayed white button-down shirt was unbuttoned enough to reveal curling chest hair. In one big hand, he held 2 flutes full of pinkish orange liquid. What's in it? I asked, as if I didn't know, as if Drew and I hadn't spent an hour in deep discussion on the question of whether she should go with a classic or have their mixologist come up with a bespoke cocktail for the rehearsal dinner. I think they're Bellini, said the guy, champagne and fresh peach juice. I knew that they were actually called Drew Gets Low, that's her new husband's new last name, and they were made with champagne and apricot nectar with a squeeze of lime, but decided not to say so. Are they any good, I asked? They're very sweet. He handed me a glass. But I like sweet, he said, and smiled as his gaze met mine. My cheeks felt hot as my fingers brushed against his. Oh, God, I thought. Did he think I was flirting with him? Then I felt my cheeks get even hotter as I thought, was I? So, all right, Zibby, can you hear anything? Zibby still can't hear anything.
Well,
sorry.
Well, everyone, why don't you guys go ahead and ask some questions? I'll just kind of go through this, but a lot of people are just saying the book sounds really great so far. Yeah. Are these like books a series, or are they one-off books, or?
Yes, Lane Wall asks, are they series or are they one-offs? Okay, so sometimes my books are connected. My first book was called Good in Bed, and boy, was my mother thrilled about that one. And I did write a sequel to that one that was called Certain Girls, but most of them are one-offs. Like sometimes you'll see a character from one book pop into another book, but you don't have to have read anything I've ever written to enjoy Big Summer. It is a one-off. It stands alone. Tiffany wants to know, can you get it on Amazon? Yes, you can. You can get it anywhere that fine books are sold. Although I will tell you that Amazon, of all places, has decided that books are non-essential items, and they're shipping every single thing before books. Like toilet paper is suddenly.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know, but
books are so essential.
Amazon says they're not essential. I don't even know what you say about that. But
oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Well, I actually have another question for you. So how are you finding time to, are you able to kind of really focus and find time during this pandemic to actually write, or?
No. I have given up. Okay. I should say that. My editor's probably listening. I have not given up. I'm trying to be gentle with myself, which is something that I say to everyone who will listen to me. Don't beat yourself up if you're not learning a new language and mastering a new cuisine and coming out of isolation with a new novel. Just if you have kids, if they're all still alive at the end of this, you will have done your job. And if your house hasn't burned down, and if it's somewhat kind of clean-ish, God, it's my cleaning lady obviously has not been here in a month and a half. And I don't even want to talk about some of the rooms I haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing a lot of writing. I'm doing some promotional stuff like this. I'm writing some things to talk about Big Summer. I'm writing some other little articles, but I'm not trying to write another novel at this particular moment.
Well, thanks for being so real with us, because I love that you just said that. Don't, as long as your children are alive at the end of this, honestly, that's all that matters.
Right? Yes. And I see my girl, Stephanie Wolf Epstein, which is so funny because I went to Hebrew school with a Stephanie Wolf who married a guy named Epstein, but I don't think it's the same person. But is this going to be a book on tape? Yes, it is an audiobook. And if any of you guys saw Dumplin' or Patty Cakes, the girl who was the star of that, Danielle McDonald, is the narrator. So she did a phenomenal job, and I highly recommend it. And as proud as I am of the book, I honestly think the audiobook is even more special because they got such an amazing narrator. So should we take another question?
Yeah, Amber is asking, what was your favorite book growing up?
Oh my God, such a good question. I read so many books growing up, and I loved A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I think like every like bookwormy girl, read that one and loved it. I read Little Women. I read The Five Little Peppers and How They Grew. I don't know if anybody remembered that one. And like,
I don't.
Okay, Trixie Belden. Like I'm showing my age here, but any of my Gen X ladies out there remember Trixie Belden? They were like detective books and like Babysitter Club, like all that stuff. I read all that stuff. So that's a good question.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah Kaplan. Sarah has been watching me bake challah, which I've been doing every Friday afternoon. Yeah, I've done on Facebook Live. People can watch my baking fails. Good times. Good times.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have a lot of a lot of good comments coming here. Like a lot of people are just kind of, it's actually coming on pretty fast, so it's hard to pick out what next question to ask you. But yeah, everyone's kind of asking about the audiobook and saying that, I mean, I know I'm a big fan of audiobooks, so I think that's kind of where I might need to go with that. Another question is, do you have any other advice to other, like, I guess, writers or aspiring writers? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, the first thing I would say is if you go to my website, which is jenniferweiner.com, there's like 20 pages of advice for writers. And I talk about how I like came up with the idea for my first book, which is basically I got dumped, some guy broke my heart, and I wanted to write a book about a girl like me and a guy like him, and there was a happy ending. So I tell that whole story, but the two most important things, like if you are going to be a writer, you need to be a reader. Like you have to read as much as you can, as many genres as you can, fiction, nonfiction, romance, literature, like anything you can get your hands on. And then you just have to like put yourself in your seat and make some time and just do your work, And when my kids were little, I used to write in my closet. And the reason I wrote in my closet was there were two sets of doors that I could shut. I would close my bedroom door and then I would close the closet door. And that was like a signal to everyone in the house, like mom is working, like don't bother her unless there's like a limb falling off. And if there is, like, see if you can put it back on yourself before you bug me. But I think that we as women have a hard time making time for ourselves, saying to other people, like, I'm doing something right now and you need to give me time and space to do it. Zibby, are you back? Zibby is not back.
Zibby, are you back?
See, I can hear myself.
I know she's trying to be back, but.
All right.
Are you there, Zibby?
No, I'm still here. So let's see. Oh, Tiffany's going to have to write in her bathroom. Oh, you can watch me there. That's why you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, Tiffany, if you have to write in the bathroom, I have a friend who like feigned constipation to like buy herself some writing time. Like she just told everybody like, nope, I'm not done. I'm still in here. And that was how she got her book done. So you can absolutely, like, bathrooms have doors that lock, and I highly recommend them to busy moms. Let's see. Ariel Fredman Stewart wants to know, can we get books signed? Yes. If you would like a signed copy of Big Summer, I'm working with an independent bookstore here in Pennsylvania called Midtown Scholar. They're online. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. They're on Instagram. You can find them. You can send them a credit card, and they will send you a signed book. And I have signed many a book plate. So we gotcha. We're ready.
So I have another question for you. It's just my personal question here, but you talk about how you first got started with writing, and it seems like it kind of came from a place of like real vulnerability. Like, what is it like? Like, was it kind of hard for you to go there and make that like some personal, content out to the public?
Well, when I was writing my first book, I really wasn't thinking at all about getting it published, right? Like, it was just, I was a 28-year-old newspaper reporter living in Philadelphia, and I would just go into my spare bedroom and sit with my old Mac Classic that didn't have an internet connection. And I wasn't even thinking like, oh my God, like everyone is going to think this is me, and everyone is going to know how I felt, and everybody is going to they're going to know stuff about me, because I'm like, well, the book would have to get published for that to happen. And I really wasn't even imagining that could happen. And then when it did, it was too late. Like, I was like, wait, can I take it back? Like, too late. But I think, I mean, what I have learned is that our vulnerabilities are our strengths. And the things that I felt like the most anxious about exposing or talking about or putting out there in public turned out to be the things that so many women connected with, and so many women saw themselves in that part of the story, whether it was weight stuff or self-esteem stuff or getting dumped and thinking you're going to die alone stuff, and like the dog is going to eat your face and nobody's going to even notice you're dead until the smell seeps into the hallway. Like, I mean, that is how I felt. And I remember it really acutely. And then I was just like, oh my God, like I'm putting this out in public and what are people going to think? And then everyone at these readings is like, that's how I felt too. So I would say it can be hard and it can be scary, but I think that there's a real payoff to being vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Zibby, can you, are you back now?
Say goodbye. Oh, me?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. We can hear
I
you
still
now.
can't hear anything. Okay. I just wanted to say thank you. I know I can't hear. I can't believe this happened, but you know what? This is like so typical these days. But I just want to thank you, Jen, for taking your time to come on. And thank you, Annie, for having me on. And this stuff doesn't happen usually on my podcast, which is Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. So anybody should come check it out and listen to my other previous interview with Jen Weiner. Excuse me about big everything. Now I'm just going to choke. Anyway, thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Annie. This was fantastic. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. And Big Summer's out on Tuesday, so look for it wherever you buy books.
I am going to go get one myself very quickly here.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.